Lane closures on the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge are causing some people to have longer commute times. We wanted to see just how much time the detours have added. WWAY Sydney Bouchel has the results of our test tracking drive times before and after the lane closures. She joins us now live in the studio. Sydney, what did you find out?
Well, Jeff, it's likely not a surprise that we found the commute time is longer taking the detour across the Isabel-Holmes, but it may not be quite as long as you're expecting.
I'm Nick.
I'm Sarah, and we're going to see how long it's going to take us to get from the WWAY studio parking lot to Wilmington City Hall before the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge lane closures go into effect.
Start the timer.
WWAY producers Nick and Sarah left the studio in Magnolia Greens in Leland around 3:45 in the afternoon before the bridge closures. It's not a rush hour time, which is why they chose to make the trek in the afternoon to find out the average time it takes to get from Leland to downtown Wilmington. Obeying all traffic laws, Sarah checked her timer pulling into City Hall.
Just look here, and it took us 14 minutes and 32 seconds.
This week, lane closures in full effect. I hopped in the passenger seat around the same time.
We're going to see how long it takes us to get to City Hall using those alternate routes and having to take the Isabel-Holmes-Bridge. Last time, I think it took you guys about 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Let's see how much longer it takes without those, or
Let's
with
get
those
it.
lane closures.
Sarah officially started her timer pulling out of the parking space behind the station, so I made sure to do the same. It was business as usual until we made it around the curve just before the Battleship North Carolina.
We are taking the left lane, so both of these lanes headed this route. Both lanes turn right onto the Isabel-Holmes. That is a change that the NCDOT made ahead of these lane closures to make it a little bit easier to get across to the Isabel-Holmes, so you don't have to hang out in that far right lane. You know, right now we're not going too much faster than the right lane, but just something to keep in mind as you are headed from Brunswick County into Wilmington.
2-hour surprise. Pulling into the City Hall parking lot, our trip timed out at...
And we're at 14:58. We just hit 15 minutes.
Interestingly, our trip timed out just about 30 seconds longer.
Well, Jeff, I'll tell you something really interesting. I was talking to some people that do work here, and they left work around that same time, like 4 o'clock earlier this week, and it took them an hour to cross the bridge. So I think the DOT is really taking that feedback and addressing those concerns people have to make it a little easier to make this commute.
And I saw a lot of those message boards today telling you how much time it's going to take to get to like Oleander and South College Road, so you can try to plan because we've got months ahead of this.
Absolutely, and ahead of that, we're gonna try different commute times and see when is the best time to travel and when maybe you should try to stay home.
All right, very interesting. Thank you, Sydney.